Hey, I am still working on, or not working on, but studying biology. Jimmy doesn't like to study, so he decided to fall asleep, and I don't like to study either, but here we are. Um, where I ended on the last video was the different organ systems. I went ahead and wrote a note card for each system, the organs and the function. I used the textbook for this, and basically all the stuff that we wrote down like a million times in our lab, that's what I wrote on the note cards. I don't like carrying around my book everywhere in my lab, so I just wrote the note cards for it. And then, what else? Sorry. And then the final note cards on here after the different organ systems is I basically wrote the definition for anatomical position, and I wrote and relative positions. I didn't want to write up definition for every single position, so I know them, but I don't really like using them like in a sentence, like this is superior by 4 centimeters to this, or I'm not used to it yet, but I know them. If you want me to go ahead and go over them in a video, and I'll have my husband be a model for everyone. So I'll put sticky notes on him, because that's usually what I do to study for the anatomy. So let me know. Just leave a comment in the video or something like that, and I will study more or do a study session for whatever you want me to study for. After the systems, after we go over these things, I don't know if I'm going to be able to in the time allotted for the video, but then the next video will be the chapter 2, which is the chemistry, and I did write note cards for chemistry, and then where it went from the definition of chemistry, what's an atom, matter, blah 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 blah, all the way to the definition of molecule and compound. And of course, I'll have more after tomorrow's class, so because we didn't go over a lot of chapter 2. Anyway, so here goes with the systems. The integumentary, I don't know if I'm saying that, integumentary system. Skin, hair, nails, sweat, and sebaceous glands. This system helps protect the underlying tissue. It helps regulate body temp. It houses sensory receptors. Skeletal system. Bones, ligaments, and cartilages. It provides the framework and protective shields for softer tissue. Its attachment for muscles acts with muscles when body parts move. Muscular system. Maybe I should pause so you can answer it. Muscular system, muscles. By contracting and pulling their ends closer together, muscles provide forces that move body parts. The nervous system. No one? Okay, I'll answer. Sorry. I'm dark. The brain, spinal cord, nerves, and sense organs. Cells of nervous system communicate with each other and with muscles and glands using chemical signals. Endocrine system. I'm going to use a Sharpie. Can't see it. Anyway. It's pink. So, this includes all glands that secrete chemical messengers called hormones. The hypothalamus, the pituitary, thyroid. There's more in there, but I just wrote those because that's what reminds me of that system. Cardiovascular system. Anyone? Heart, arteries, veins, capillaries, and blood. The heart pumps blood through blood vessels. And then it does a bunch of other stuff, but I didn't write it all. So that's what I remember. The lymphatic system. Lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, thymus, spleen, etc. transport some of the tissue fluid back to the bloodstream and carry certain fatty substances away from the digestive organs and into the bloodstream. The digestive system. The mouth, the tongue, teeth, salivary glands, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, small and large intestine. It receives food from the outside and breaks down food molecules so they can pass through cell membranes and be absorbed. And it does other stuff too. The respiratory system. Nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and the lungs. Okay. It moves air in and out and exchanges gases between the blood and the air. The urinary system. Kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Kidneys remove waste from blood. All that makes urine leaves the body. Boom. Anatomical position. The definition for it. Body is standing erect, face forward, upper limbs at the sides, palms forward. The end. And then relative positions. And I wrote them down, but I didn't define them. Superior, inferior, anterior, posterior, proximal, distal, medial, lateral, and then cranial, caudal. So cranial, head, caudal, tail. And then dorsal, ventral. And I remember that because of fish. Dorsal fin. So this one is the tic-tac-toe regions. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Anyway, so it'd be dumb of me to like go over this and stuff on the video, but the top row consists of right hypochondriac, epigastric, and left hypochondriac region. The middle region is right lumbar, umbilical, and left lumbar, and the lower region is right iliac, hypogastric, and left iliac regions. Chapter goes. Should I do a different video for chapter 2? Anyway, so let me flip chapter 2. Here we go. Chemistry. The definition of chemistry is a branch of science that considers the composition of matter and how this composition changes. Matter. Matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. Boom. And on atoms, I put state the definition and what do they consist of. Atoms are tiny particles, smallest complete unit of elements. That's what was in the book. There's other written out stuff in his PowerPoint. I don't know what y'all use, but I used the book. And then the atom consists of protons, which weigh 1 AMU. They have a positive charge and they're housed in the nucleus. Number 2 is a neutron. It weighs 1 AMU. It's neutrally charged and it's housed in the nucleus.
Are you talking to yourself?
I am talking to myself.
Oh.
Go away. Sorry. Anyway, and then 3 is an electron. It weighs 0 AMU. It has a negative charge, and in the shell or electron. Sorry. My husband doesn't understand my geekiness and why I do study blogging. Anyway. Ruining my concentration, Jeffrey. So, this one is atomic number, atomic weight, or atomic mass, and what is an isotope. For atomic number, the atomic number in, like on the periodic table, is the number of protons. The atomic weight or atomic mass, atomic weight is what, because on Earth, mass and weight are the same, so you can interchange atomic weight or atomic mass, whatever you want to call it. So the atomic mass is the weight of the nucleus, and the weight of the nucleus is determined by a equation that is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. Okay, what is an isotope? An isotope is an atom, atoms of an element with different atomic weight than on the periodic table. Now, we'll probably be asked on the test to determine if a certain atom is an isotope, and the way that he'll do that is like we did in class. He'll say, here's helium, it has atomic number of 1, and its atomic mass is 45, and it'll say, is this an isotope? And yes, it would be an isotope, because the atomic mass is not the same as on the periodic table. The other thing he wanted us to know about the periodic table, but it's not in the book, but we still had to answer questions about it in the lab, is how do we know just by looking at the periodic table how many valence electrons an atom has? Now, on the periodic table, there's these up and down rows, and above that will be a Roman numeral, and that Roman numeral is how many electrons are in the valence electron cloud. So hydrogen has 1, and it's in that first column or row or whatever you call it. So that's how we would know that. So instead of wasting time trying to do all the calculations in your head or on paper during the test, you can just take a look at the periodic table, find the element and its corresponding Roman numeral above it, and boom, valence electron. Yeah. And then the other thing he wanted us to know is it's a reference to ionic bonds and cations and anions, and how do we know if a metal or non-metal would give up or take an electron when forming a bond, and whether or not that would make it a cation or anion. If you did the pre-lab for chapter 2, then you've answered those questions, and I can go over that in the next video. But on this one, I don't have much time left. So, here we go. Alright. This says what's an ion, what's an ionic bond, what's a cation, and what's an anion. An ion is an atom that gains or loses electrons and becomes electrically charged. An ionic bond is a chemical bond that results when two ions form by transfer of electrons. A cation is a positively charged ion, and the way that I remember that cation is positively charged ion is because it has a T in it, and a T is like the plus sign, so positive, so that's how I remember. Anion is a negatively charged ion. Alright, so next one's covalent bond. Sorry. A covalent bond is a chemical bond between atoms that share electrons. And then he wants us to know the difference between polar and nonpolar covalent bonds. I didn't finish writing all that out on my note cards, but I know that we took notes on it from the PowerPoint in the lecture. So if you want to refer back to that, they are, I recorded the lecture and it should be on Google Drive. So sorry about that. I didn't write it down. It might be in my notes. I don't know. Alright, so what is a molecule? A molecule is when two or more atoms bond, they create a new particle called a molecule. And what is a compound? Cha-ching. A compound is when atoms of different elements bond, they form molecules called compounds. The book kind of makes a molecule and a compound sound like the same thing. So, in my spiral notebook, I wrote the Google definition of these, and it made a lot more sense. I'll try and get that on my note card and tell you about it in the next couple videos, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So, I went over my time. Anyway,